Hello and welcome to this new video, guys. Today we'll be discussing about test anxiety, test fear or performance anxiety. All of us have experienced this many times, and especially in competitive sports we see every now and then sportsmen commit mistakes, they improvise on those mistakes and they bounce back to win and make big victories for themselves in their lives and in their careers. So today we'll be discussing about some of the important reasons and how you can fight those reasons as far as test anxiety is concerned. All of us have had that test anxiety, and many times many students, in spite of preparing fantastically over the year, in spite of preparing for the whole semester, they end up losing their performance just because of this one entity. We'll be looking into this problem in this lecture. Guys, there are three reasons for this performance or test anxiety. Number one is the fear of failure. Number two is the fear of the environment. And number three, it is the fear of stakes. We will go through one by one what are these and how a student can win over his or her performance anxiety. Let us start with the first, that is fear of failure. Guys, our minds are planned in such a way that if you have a big white wall and you have a small black dot on that wall, our mind focuses more on that black entity and less on the major portion, that is the white wall. This is what we call as inherent negative bias. We as humans are prone for this. Our brain is prone and programmed for this. Any event that has a emotional component, any event that has a rarity in it, and any event that is negative in nature, our memory stores that component more prominently. And as failure is something which is rare, which brings up lot of emotions in you, tends to get stuck up into your personality and into your brain. So whenever you go into a test, you have a fear of that test. This is what makes you shaky at the time of test. But remember this one thing, guys. Whatever your brain might be telling you, whatever your brain might be reminding you, remember your past failures will make you more prepared for your future success. Just don't allow these failures to pull you back and pull you into the failure zone. For that, you need to learn what mistakes you committed, and you should have a deep resolve to improving those mistakes. Without these two steps, you will not be able to overcome this fear of failure. So how can we do it? We can do it with a 5-step formula. After every failure, you should ask yourself, was I unprepared? Why was I unprepared? Did I give enough time for review? Was my study method effective? Did I practice enough? Or did I unnecessarily rush through making careless mistakes? If you answer these questions, you will be coming up with certain answers. And when you have the answers, you should have the firm resolve to improve those things. Remember one thing, whatever those reasons may be, don't allow them to pull you down too much. Remember, failure is a great teacher. Every one of us, after the failure, decides one thing, I want to do better next time. But what you should focus on is, you should be very clear about how I will be doing it better next time. You should have answers to these things. The second important thing is the fear of the environment. What is the fear of the environment, guys? Fear of the environment is the what you call as the test environment. Many times we study in our homes, we study in our class, but we are not practiced enough for the environment of the test. The test environment not only tests your knowledge and memory, but it also tests your complete personality. So one has to remember that the more you replicate the exam conditions before the exam, the more tests you give, the more practice of tests that you do, the more comfortable you will be in the actual exam. The actual exam will not be a foreign environment for you that creates fear and unnecessary anxiety. And for that, you need to train yourself as much as possible. Train to give vivas with your friends. Whatever you read, try to make questions out of it. Try to answer those questions. Try to replicate what might be asked in the exams. What might be the probable things that can get asked in the exams, and try to get the answers for it. The more you do it, the more you successfully will be sitting into that environment when the actual test happens, and you'll be coming out with flying colors. And lastly, it is the fear of stakes. What we mean by it is that students tend to have this feeling that this exam is everything, this test is everything, This test defines my self-worth. Many times it goes to the intensity or the level where you associate your self-worth with the examination or the test. Students have this fear whether I'll be able to achieve my dream, my career, the goal that I want to achieve. Definitely guys, some tests and some exams are really very important in life. But remember, don't let their intensity drown you. I'll just end here with a small story of Wimbledon and the two champions, Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer. You might be aware of this, that Roger Federer was having a roller coaster ride in Wimbledon. He beat Rafa Nadal. Rafa was heartbroken. The failure engulfed him. What did he do? He analyzed his game. He improved his mistakes. He simulated the environment. Next year, Rafa came back. Rafa did beat Roger Federer. Federer, even after losing the game, came back the next year to win the Wimbledon championship. So what we learn from the story is that this is how champions are made. They make mistakes, they correct those mistakes, and they improvise those mistakes. This is what is the mark of a true champion, and this is how you can take care of your test anxiety. So hope to meet you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.